Welcome to Life Expressions. I'm your host, Chari Hineda Elon. Our guest today is Carlos Davalos. He's an account management and marketing professional with 9 years of experience in entrepreneurship, investments, technology, and education. Currently, he's working as an employer engagement officer at Douglas College on a full-time basis and as a part-time manager of administrative services in Vision to Reality Foundation. As a newcomer to Canada from Peru, who's helping students find opportunities in the job market and contributing to a nonprofit organization to help immigrant entrepreneurs learn how to do business in British Columbia, Carlos is enjoying the best of both worlds, and I'm happy to have him here at Life Expressions. Hi, Carlos. Welcome.
Hi, Cherry. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, and thank you very much for joining me into this conversation, Life
Of course.
Expressions.
Of course. Carlos, please share your story of how you became passionate at what you do today.
Well, I started, since I came here, I came to study at Douglas College as well. So I came to study a marketing post-degree. I had a bachelor's degree from back home in business administration. And honestly, since I came here, I started to network with different people to learn from others. So I basically if I wasn't studying, I was focusing on meeting new people. I came in the pandemic, so it was tough to meet people. So I basically approached people LinkedIn, and suddenly I came up with, well, according to my experience, previously I have worked I've been an entrepreneur for some years. I had a company focused more in engineering.
Mhm.
And I wasn't an engineer, so more or less I was focusing on the commercial side, strategic side. And then afterwards, I went to work I worked for some years, so yeah, 1 year and a half in a company that built social impact construction projects for people with different abilities. Yes, that was amazing. An amazing experience. Afterwards, I work in an investment fund as a corporate chief. Basically, I was basically the middleman between the directors and basically all the team, the finance team, the legal team. It was a great experience, a great experience, very challenging, but great. And then I went to work in a tech company
Mhm.
where was more focused in developing an e-commerce platform during COVID. And then afterwards I came here. So basically, my work has been more or less involved in account management, business development, business consulting, basically. And then through meeting new people, some of the opportunities came, and then I started working in Douglas. I haven't worked in an educational institution before, but it ended up being the best experience of my life. Yeah, I think there's a difference from working for stakeholders, investors, and working for a student, helping someone, right? And helping them achieve or start their career to achieve their dreams. So there's a lot involved there. And yeah, I think my passion went all in. And then during the way, through networking, I started to meet new people. And in this case, I met Winnie Sue. She's mentor, also boss, and a friend, and a very good friend for me. So now I'm supporting the organization as well. And now I'm also I'm a passionate in entrepreneurship. So I'm right now working in an organization that helps immigrants entrepreneurs to learn how to do business in BC. So also I'm also learning myself. So it's a great experience.
Wow. In fact, you have said it like it's like having the best of both worlds, right? So now let's talk about you being at Douglas College. With your role there, what do you think are the key skills and abilities for a student to have the best job opportunity in the market?
Well, skills they have to. Well, honestly, right now I don't oversee too much of the student side.
Mhm.
I take care more of the employer side. But
Yeah.
I have been learning from the career advisors in Douglas College, and they are amazing people with a lot of skills. And I would say that communication skills first. The first filter to pass any kind of interview process. So
Yeah.
the first thing that an employer will do is call you just to know if you know how to communicate yourself. So that's the first step. Then the second step is just learning how to showcase your profile in the best way. your skills, your credentials. There's a lot of micro credentials nowadays that people can have access to. So yeah, I think it's both from those sides, because at the end you're a paper, so you have to do the best job on your side to achieve the other side, the people from the other side of the table, to be able to see you're like, who are you in a paper, right? So that's where, for example, if you're volunteering, when you volunteer, the employers see that, hey, you're passionate for something, right? You want to have life with purpose, and if you're volunteering, hey, they want to know, hey, why are you volunteering, right? So they start to see your passion, and employers nowadays love attitude, they love people with passion, because they know that they will go all in for the job. So I think that's, yeah, I think those are things that are very good things to consider for any student wanting to reach out to new opportunities here in Canada.
Yes. You've mentioned that being in that role is one of the best experiences that you've had in your life. What are the best stories that you could share with us that you have helped a student and at the same time an employer find the best match?
Well, now, well, for example, right now, I think we've had, okay, several showcases, but for example, for example, the internship, even though there can be maybe unpaid paid internships, uh, at the end you have to push a bit the student to apply to certain jobs. I won't tell any names, but a student went to work he didn't expect anything about an employer. The student needed a little push, but honestly, I knew that he had the skills, he had the passion, but for his XYZ reason, he didn't have the time to apply and to pay too much attention to apply for internships. So the thing is, he applied to a job that I matched him with the opportunity. We suggested him through the career advisors, hey, this may be the job for you. He just applied. At the end, he achieved the interview. He went into work in an organization, and he did a great job. And at the end, he got hired at the end. Okay, so those are so and right now he's jumpstarting his career. He's growing extremely fast. When you see those outcomes, and suddenly you start receiving messages from people, hey, Carlos, thank you very much for pushing me for this opportunity. Or maybe there's another student that, even though the employer didn't have the money to hire them, what the employer did was open up all their networks to the students, so the students can be able to get their opportunity and start their career.
Yeah,
So there's two ways to see it.
true.
And yeah, performance is key. So if you perform in a job, I think your employer will be very grateful with you. So he will do anything he can do to hire you or to refer you to anyone.
I agree with that. Absolutely. How about your experience with Vision to Reality Foundation? You said that you are learning at the same time helping immigrant entrepreneurs learn how to do business in BC. Tell me about that experience.
Well, it's been a whole learning process. It's a new non-profit organization full of volunteers and full of passionate people.
Mhm.
They were working with purpose because they are aspiring entrepreneurs.
Yep.
And right now we have more than 500 members in the community.
Mhm.
So it's growing very fast, month a month. So we're doing more things. And of course, the leader, Winnie Sue, she's very passionate and super fast-paced.
Yeah.
So we're doing things in a high velocity. Okay, so you have to do everything. So I'm learning a lot through that side, through the managerial side and administrative side, but also, for example, uh, just going through every workshop, going to every storytelling session, there's a new story. So you learn from other people. You know how other people made their businesses, what was their journey. And in the workshops, you start to learn the techniques of how to do business and how to ask for a loan, maybe, okay? How to ask for funding and where to find funding. And suddenly, and for example, suddenly you start to hear it in the storytelling sessions experiences from business owners, where they start to talk about more technical things through their journey. So honestly, the other day I started to hear an experience from a business owner. She has like a coffee place, and she makes macaroons and has products related to macaroons. And she started to to tell a lot of details of how she achieved to selling to the retail business and Whole Foods and other kind of big retail stores or big stores, big supermarket stores. And there's a lot of licenses that she has to go through, a lot of safety licenses as well, and that the food and beverage industry requires you to have. So I think it's not easy to be able to have all that information. And of course, Winnie also asked the right questions and the hosts. So every conversation starts to be more enriching and you got to learn from them. And then if you suddenly I have a lot of notes, but suddenly I have a lot of learnings from other kind of business owners. So at the end, those are part of the resources of Vision to Reality Foundation. And this, at the end, those resources are part of the community, and the community have access to all of this. So it's very powerful because at the end, from each workshop, each storytelling session, our resources start to grow. And at the end, those are free resources for the people, for the community.
Yeah, that's wonderful. You have perhaps met more than 500 members of V2RF or heard a lot of stories from these new entrepreneurs in British Columbia. Do you think there are unique challenges that immigrant entrepreneurs face versus an old citizen of Canada? Like, are there unique challenges that an immigrant entrepreneur face in BC?
Well, networking first, there's no network, you don't know people.
Yeah.
So you have to start opening your network. And there's a lot of strategies to do that. And I've heard different stories from, for example, yesterday I met a woman that she came 1 year ago and she came with an entrepreneur visa. And she was thriving in BC. So I was surprised and it was good to hear her experience. And basically, what was her keys to being successful in the way was networking. And she went to different meetings from different chambers of commerce, for example, or different board of trades. So that gives her the exposure to talk and to meet different people, to learn from others. And suddenly she starts to make connections and the clients come to her and she starts to offer her services and suddenly the money starts to come. So it's a matter of putting yourself out there. It's challenging. It's very challenging because of course, there's people that are more that feel less comfortable in being outside with people, are more introverted.
Yeah.
So you have to give that extra push and you have to be out there. You have to talk to people and just go and approach people. And sometimes even without asking anything to other person, just focusing on learning with the other person, just like when you're finding a job. If you just focus on learning from other people instead of just finding the job, through the conversation, if you ask the right questions, then the magic happens and then the opportunity comes. So yeah, that's what I've been learning from others. I think that's a key point that I've been hearing from different kind of business owners throughout the different sessions and different conversations.
Yeah, that's great. So how about you? What is the greatest learning that you have gathered from these experiences and from these networking and from all the workshops that you have attended?
Well, it's good to, like you don't have to be the expert in a certain matter. I think you need to be more focused on working on your mindset because there's a lot of struggles. Because I've seen different stories from business owners and there's a lot of struggles during the way. And you can feel them when they tell their stories. You can feel that, hey, they went through a lot of struggles and there was pain during the way. But you have to focus during the way on the outcome, on the process, more on the result at a certain moment. So there's always a learning. So if you focus on the learning and more than on the problem itself and you focus on the solution, then you can just start doing more goals, but focusing on each goal and each step at a time, more than just focusing on the dream itself. So I think that's what's a main thing. Working on your mindset, also on your mental health, because there's a lot of challenges, and networking. I think I will say all of the different business owners talked about networking here in Canada, I think here, well, I've experienced it. Networking works in Canada. People are very open to help
Yeah.
and very open to give you their time because their time is precious. People are working and their time is money at the end. So they're happy to allow other people to learn from them. So I think networking is very valuable. I think those kind of meetups that the different chambers of commerce and other board of trades offer are precious.
Yeah. How about you? How do you keep yourself motivated? How do you keep your energy and your balance in life with all the things that are going in your life and you're being too busy?
I read books. Well, thankfully I live two blocks or three blocks from the train, and my office is right beside the train. So honestly, I take my time in the train just to read books. So honestly, I think because coming to Canada is challenging enough,
Mhm.
and you can't imagine how many books I read during my first year here. I had to keep myself motivated, so I just basically nurtured myself with podcasts and read books. I read 24 books in less than a year. So so I think I think that's a way that work for me. Also doing sports. I do sports right now 4 times a week as well during my
Wow.
lunchtime. So yeah, I think it's important to keep yourself like strong mentally and physically.
Yeah. What sports do you play?
Well, right now I paddle a lot, but because I have a gym inside the college, so I go to the college during my lunch. I go like half an hour, but a half an hour is super intense, and it works for me. So, yeah, I think that's my moments. During the train, I read books, and then during the at lunchtime, I go to the gym and I sweat a bit, and that's okay for me.
That's wonderful. That's really keeping balance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you are a mentor to students. You are, shall I say, the connection, the liaison between the employer and the students. At the same time, you're also being mentored by Winnie at Vision to Reality, and you mentor the members as well. So mentorship plays a key role in what you do today.
Yes, yes, as well, for sure. Yeah, because we have different volunteers, so you have to keep the volunteers motivated. So a way to keep them motivated is mentoring them. Uh, yeah, I think mentorship is a responsibility, and I know if I'm the best mentor, I try to be helpful for others and being of service for others and hearing others, because at the end, even though we have people in the community, people that volunteer and people that are engaging with us in different kind of ways and natures, I think it's important to hear them and hear them mainly because there's always struggles during the way. Okay, volunteering is tough, and managing volunteers is is tough enough because they're giving their time to you. So you have to be patient on their schedules as well, and just be super archie flexible with
Yeah.
them. So and each one of them has struggles. Each one of them has want to find also their opportunities. So also as they are looking for a job, as they're volunteer for you and giving them time, donating their time for the organization, you have to also keep them motivated and assign the different tasks and give them their time, and with a and in this case with students, I don't have a direct relation with the students because I'm more focused on the business owners, on employers basically. Sometimes some students come to me, of course, Latin American students, because I'm Peruvian, I speak Spanish. A lot of students come to me to talk. So, and that's great. And I give them suggestions, but I'm not technical in the coaching side. So I basically tell them, hey, networking works and just expose yourself, talk to people. So I mentor them in that side. I think uh, I think people don't value how networking can change your journey, your career journey.
Yeah.
So that's a thing that one friend of mine, before coming here, she suggested me to network with people, and
Yeah.
I did that, and it worked for me. So basically, I want to spread this to other people so they can find their opportunities.
Mhm. What would you advise to some who are hesitant to put themselves out there and who are shy to do networking? How would you help them make the first step to improve their networking?
So and as I mentioned before, when people, I did the same thing. When you network and you focus on finding a job and focus on the outcome, that's when things start to go wrong. Because I made a lot of mistakes. When I was a student, I met a lot of people and I networked the wrong way. So during the way, I started to change my focus, to change my strategy. And when you change your focus from finding a job to learning from others, suddenly things start to change as people start to feel that, hey, you're genuinely listening to them, listening to their experience, and you're taking notes. And you're asking right questions. They try to learn that you made your research and you also have the background.
Yeah.
So at the end, through your questions, people start to So at the end, what I suggest to students is, hey, network, but focus on learning
Yeah.
more than the outcome, and just learn from the other people. And it doesn't matter if at the end of the conversation they don't offer you anything. Who knows if they maybe will offer you something in 1 week and a half, because it happens. I've had different students that I taught them how to network, or not taught them how to network, but suggested them different strategies that they can apply how to network. And suddenly the conversation finished, nothing happened, but maybe 1 week and a half later, hey, why don't you apply to this kind of job? So, or to this job, or maybe there's an opening in their company. So
Yeah.
why do you apply there? So you maybe know that, hey, maybe that person suggested, that person referred that person to the company. Because when you network, first of all, you pass the first filter. Thus, people will know that you know how to communicate yourself because you're interacting with other people. They're seeing you, okay? And you already put a face to your resume, okay? So the second thing is, they know if you ask it to the right questions, they will know that you have the background. And the third thing is, just exposing yourself and just approaching new people to network with them or to learn from them is challenging enough. So they already know that you're proactive. Okay. So those three things are key to know that you have the attitude and you know how to communicate yourself and you have the background. Because during the way, in a certain conversation when you're learning, then the conversation organically the people will ask you, hey, and what are you doing right now? And you start to pitch yourself, but also focusing on them. And then the conversation will change to your side and you will start pitching yourself and talking, and they will ask questions. They will know, hey, that person might be a great fit. So then the opportunity might come.
That's
So
beautiful. Yeah.
yeah.
And when the opportunity finally comes and when they have a job, what do you advise them? How should they conduct themselves in the company or in the organization that they're in?
In the how can they conduct themselves inside the organization?
Yes.
Well, work ethics. I think work ethics is key. Being accountable, being willing to learn from other people. Yeah, I think that those things are key. But sometimes students might be not too mature, or maybe they don't know. So it's good to refresh themselves and to refresh those students, just so they understand that they have to go there all in, because at the end it's their opportunity, and for international students it's only one time. So you have to go all in because you have future dreams. You want to get the PR maybe, or work permits or whatever. You have family, etc. So there's a lot of responsibilities. So yeah, and also learning from your peers. For example, right now, thankfully, I have two great bosses in Douglas College that they are also my mentors, and they're super women. So I'm grateful for that as well. So building those relationships with your superiors and your colleagues, it's key.
Yeah.
And that part of that is networking. So learning from others.
Yes. Being open to learn, right? Because
Yeah.
when you empty your cup, you will fill it with something new and you're on your way to success. Carlos, you are a newcomer here in Canada, but you're already doing great. You're doing great networking and you're helping out a lot of newcomers as well. What would be your advice to them to make a meaningful impact in what they do?
Advice to students.
Yes, advice to students and immigrant entrepreneurs, advice to newcomers on how to make a meaningful impact in what they do, like what you are doing right now.
Well, first, I think in when they're coming, I know if for students, if they are learning, if they are in a college, in a university studying, I think they have to take that year to nurture their mind as much as possible, uh, working on their mindset, uh, working their values, having core values in your life is super important. I think that's a thing that I took from Winnie as well. Having values in your life is key, and values with passion and also using your skills. Those three things complement, and you have to use them to be of service. So I think more than showing yourself in the market, it's being of service. So when you're of service to someone else, that's when the opportunities start to come. So something more focused instead of focusing more on the money, that the money will come and feeling abundant is great, amazing, but focusing on serving others at the end, serving others well will get you more money. So at the end, everything complements. So yeah, that's the key.
That's wonderful. When you help enough people achieve what they want in life, you will get what you want in life. Correct.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, correct.
Yes. And Carlos, thank you so much. This has been great talking to you. I have been inspired, and hopefully, more people will be mentored by you, and you will continue to do networking and inspire more people.
Yeah, I would suggest people to find mentors. Mentors are people that have achieved more than you, so you can learn from others. So I think that's the key.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Carlos, for your time and for sharing your story with me.
Thank you, Sherry. I
Yes,
appreciate
take
it.
care too. When you light the lives of others, no effort is wasted. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm your host, Shari Hineta Elon. Till next time, here on Life Expressions.